welcome to this week's Two Guys and Some Horror. In this episode, we're going to discuss something a little close to our hearts, because it's Valentine's Day. And the episode choice is My Bloody Valentine from 1981. Clark, what'd you think?
I liked it. I felt it did a good job. There's some things that were a little off, but otherwise, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good.
I like it.
Warmed my heart, my bitter, single, cold heart.
So I've seen this movie now 5 times.
5 times?
I feel like it's a really good Valentine's Day-esque horror film. I probably should start watching others because I can't think of any off the top of my head that deal with Valentine's Day.
Yeah. This is your standard slasher flick that it's kind of a thriller / mystery movie as well. So it touches 3 things. One is you have this super strong killer who's dressed in a miner outfit as well as a gas mask, who's able to lift people up and just shove them right into showers.
Which I love it.
Well,
I mean, it is. So it is. It's a good late 70s, early 80s slasher flick.
Right.
I have a note somewhere. I can't find it right now, but I know there's a note somewhere where I talk about how the killer's point of view is one of my favorite parts about watching some of the older slasher flicks like these. You get that view directly from, it's like you're playing the video game and you're the killer.
It really reminded me of Silent Night, Deadly Night but instead of more of you getting all of the backstory at the very beginning.
You mean Black Christmas or you mean Silent Night, Deadly Night?
I think it's Silent Night, Deadly Night because you get the backstory of the killer for the first part of the movie.
Yeah.
And then it goes into the murder. Then it goes into the murdering. But in this one, you get a very tiny amount of backstory once you find out who the killer is. And you don't get any information about it whatsoever. So you're not going to know who the killer is.
You're going to get red herrings.
Yeah.
In fact, if you're smart, follow the red herring and you will find the killer. Because it threw me off again today. I remembered you chatting me some notes from when you had watched it yesterday. And then I was like, I'm pretty sure I remember who the killer is. So I'm walking along this film, just letting it guide me. And then at the end, I'm like, oh, fuck, man, I screwed up again. That's not the killer. And I forgot up until like the last 10 minutes of the movie. And then I was like, yep, never mind. It's not this one.
Well, I felt like it was a little bit too on the nose for me.
Okay.
Aside from that, it was just, I hate it when they set something up and then they put in a bunch of unrealistic things that just kind of throw me off, which I guess it makes sense if they're like, yeah, we don't want you to know who the killer is.
Sure.
But at least give us some hints. Let us kind of...
We'll discuss that at the end because I have a big note that taps into that. And I'm like, no, Clark, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
And I think we should rip it a little bit for that. So let's do the quick or some notes about the movie real fast. So the director was George Mahalka. I really butcher names. I'm sorry. Writers were Stephen Miller, can nail that one, and John Beard. The budget was 2.3 million Canadian, by the way, back in 1981, and the body count for this film was 16. It is a Canadian film, and boy, oh boy, you can hear it. A lot of these accents are very much so Canadian. Now, so let's just go ahead and jump into the movie. Like right off the bat, we get this intimate kill.
This girl, she's trying to take off this guy's clothes because she's into him. He just keeps saying no.
And already it's better than any movie in the Mind that we've done before.
Yeah. This is probably the best Mind movie we've had on the podcast so far.
Guaranteed.
To be honest. I just felt like they know each other. They've been with each other. She knows who he is, and she's trying to take his mask off, trying to undress him. Yeah. She's undressing, and he just kills her. And
we really get no story behind her, which is kind of sad to think about. I mean, she just gets used and killed at the beginning of the movie, and she doesn't even get to get any, which is kind of depressing for her. But yeah, so then we kind of get introduced to all the miners as they're coming out of the mine shaft. And we're presuming that she was killed and at the same time that all the miners were leaving for their shift, right?
Right.
Like this wasn't a years apart kind of a thing. They don't tell you that. So anyways, all the guys are in the showers. They're getting ready or whatever. And it's a big giant sausage fest. They're having fun. And then there's like this Smokey and the Bandit drive to the town bar, which I thought was a lot of fun. Yeah, she's just Woman.
Yeah, the lady who dies at the very beginning of the film, her name is just Woman.
Sad woman. So they drive to the bar. They're all hanging out and having a good time. And then they're kind of discussing the Valentine's Day dance. And then we cut to the sheriff, who's with the mayor.
Right. Are we talking about? So they're planning this dance with Mabel, who is the sheriff's wife, and she's really close with the sheriff as well. And she's like, "Ooh, you got a Valentine?" He's like, "Who is it from?" She's like, "I don't know." So he thinks it's from Mabel, and he goes in the car with the sheriff, like you're saying, and he opens up this Valentine's box, and inside it is a heart, presumably from the girl who died at the very beginning of the movie.
Yep.
But it's made of ground beef, from what I saw.
See, I thought it looked pretty good.
Yeah.
I thought it was very gory. The makeup effect artist for this movie, in my opinion, has done some really good work, which we'll get to later. But I think most of the gore in this movie, the effects that he's done, the makeup, the artistry is all really good, especially for 1981. I really love it when I can watch older movies, look back and go, man, that death scene right there, that's really good. I wonder how they did that. And then guess what? We can go figure it out. Because there's a lot of different videos that kind of walk us through how it happens.
The killer is also the person who's dressed up in the killer's clothes and actually doing the killer is a different actor from the person who turns out to be the killer.
Oh, interesting.
Peter Cowper.
Okay.
So you have this big guy just breaking things, killing people. You see every kill he does.
So they must have used a body double to kind of change so you can't figure out who it is by shape and size?
I think so. And they had him wear some very hard to put on and take off clothes.
Okay.
Which
side note, who's your favorite character in the movie? Because a lot of these characters would be really fun to hang out with. Is why I'm curious.
Probably Howard.
Howard, the comedian.
No, not Howard. Who's the chubby guy with the
Hollis?
Hollis.
That's my favorite guy.
Best character. He's me.
Yes.
He's this big chubby goofy guy he's like all right, I'm a softie. He's got a cute girlfriend.
But when he needs to be rough, he stands up and he's rough.
He makes sure no nonsense between his friends happens. Hell yeah. He keeps the peace.
Hollis would be my go-to hangout guy.
Keith Knight.
Okay, so Heart in the Box, they're driving.
And he's the mayor's like, not again.
Yeah.
Oh no. So at this point, I'm coming in blind to this movie. I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea of what's going on with the dance. Like the note says, cancel the dance pretty much.
Yep.
In the box, or else more people will die. And the mayor's like, oh, well, I'm not going to cancel it. And that...
This is where we get our exposition.
Yeah.
I mean, this is where... Is it the mayor who goes on the story and basically explains Harry?
Well, I think it was... it's the bartender, because we're in the bar before then. We get introduced to all the characters. The mayor's son, who is the romantic hero... Or maybe not romantic hero. He's the ex-boyfriend of this girl who's dating his ex-best friend, Axel. We're introduced to Hollis. We're introduced to Howard, who's kind of the goofy guy who hits on all the girls. And
who I think is fun, but not my favorite character.
He's fun, but he's kind of a screw-up.
Yeah, everything he does ends up not panning out properly.
He doesn't take things seriously enough, which is his character's issue, which is good. Everybody has has a part to play. But the bartender is like, hey, 20 years ago, I found this guy eating human flesh in a cave. They institutionalized him because there was a methane burst in the mine. Yep. And they all got locked in, so he had to eat human flesh.
To survive, yeah.
So
while there's a Valentine's Day dance happening right above him.
Right.
Which is why Harry is angry about Valentine's Day.
Right. So his name's Harry, Harry Boughton, I think, and he goes towards. We think the killer. We're introduced to the killer as Harry Boughton, and no, he just goes on a killing rampage from here, and his second victim, which Mabel.
Oh, poor Mabel. She didn't do anything wrong. She was just trying to throw a Valentine's Day party.
She was trying... Yeah, was it Mabel who died?
Yeah. You're talking about the laundromat, right?
Yeah. Yep. So the killer... she gets boiled alive, essentially.
Basically, she opens up her Valentine's. By the way, that Harry exposition, I would love for that to be its own movie. I think that could be a really good movie now, like today. Guy, a small town, mining town's having a party, whatever. The people leave early, causing an accident to happen, methane explosion. The people get stuck down below. They end up finding him. He ends up eating people. They rehabilitate him in a place. They think he's okay. Comes back to town, slaughters everybody.
That's right. He came back and he started murdering people until they canceled the Valentine's Day party.
I think that could be a great movie all on its own.
Yeah.
But we get the small snippet of that. We get the fast version of that, I just gave you.
There's the 2009 My Bloody Valentine.
Yeah, but it's just it's a good remake.
Okay.
It's a good remake, yeah.
Okay.
With the guy from Supernatural, Dean Winchester. But to continue with this movie, she opens up her Valentine that was left for her there. Presumably, she's thinking it's probably from her husband. And the note is, roses are red, violets are blue, one is dead, and so are you. And then she gets it. So he basically stuffs her body in the dryer.
Yeah.
And she gets burnt to a crisp.
In the dryer.
Seems
a little unrealistic to me, but we'll run with it.
Super unrealistic, especially when they find her body and then pull out a perfectly piece of paper that didn't burn.
No.
From her chest. So that's where I was like, okay, yeah, all right, I gotta let that go.
This is where they cancel the Halloween party. And
the Valentine's Day party?
The Valentine's Day party. Sorry, yeah.
Yep.
Sorry, it's
you ever cooked meat on a on a car engine?
Have you
ever cooked meat on a car engine?
No.
Because that's what the miners are doing when they're hanging out in there. And we get that first bit of tension, not to not allow us to move forward, but I want to notice the tension. So Axel and Jesse / TJ. They call him Jesse and TJ a lot in this movie. He's officially named TJ, I believe, in the credits. Anyways, so TJ and Axel, they have this moment where they're arguing about Sarah, the girl.
Right, they're fighting over because
Axel left town. No, TJ left town.
TJ left town. They were together, and he went out of town. He fell on his ass. He was super embarrassed about it. Didn't tell anyone.
Yep.
He kept trying to make it work. He just couldn't. He came back.
He had to come back to a small town and be a miner.
And he didn't. He was embarrassed by it, so he didn't reach out to her, didn't write her or anything,
and she moved on.
Moved on,
and she met Axel.
Yeah,
and they fell in love. Presumably, I keep using that word. That can't be good. They fall in love. Hopefully, we think they're in real love, and then well,
they're dating at least.
But then TJ comes back.
Well, Axel. Throughout the film, Axel keeps trying to start shit with TJ.
Yeah,
and he's just like, "You got a problem?" He's like, "No, she makes her own choice," and then. He's trying to get her back, and she's just tired of being fought over throughout the process of the film, and we can get into that what happens near the end. But
I thought it was cool though that they started playing harmonicas and drinking together. I thought, okay, they're gonna get over their shit, right? But they don't.
But that was
in fact, it just ends up that the harmonica playing almost forces them to have a confrontation, which forces them to talk about Sarah more, which forces them to drive a bigger wedge between
they go into the car. He's sitting in the car and he talks to him. He's like, "You want to fight? I will fight you." Or he's essentially
he's basically letting him know if fighting's the way you want to solve this, I'll fight you.
Right. And so essentially the party the dance is canceled. So these kids, these miners, who are all in their early 20s, maybe mid 20s, if not 18, they're all like, "All right, we'll throw our own party in the mine."
They decide to have a party anyways
at the mine. So.
The bartender, beware of what you make fun of, you little shits, because they're talking trash about Harry.
Yeah,
right there in front of all these characters. So just so you guys know, right now you're at this point, you're realizing Harry is killing people. The kids have heard about it, and they're just piss on Harry, is what they say. They're saying basically nah, this guy can't hurt us. We're gonna have a great party, whatever. So they choose to have it anyways in the mines.
And the killer is basically. He knows they're gonna have a party.
Yep.
And the bartender, I think Happy is his name. He goes to the mine and he puts in this costume of Harry, and he puts a pickaxe and he keeps opening and closing the door. Yeah. And he's like, "I sure am smart." And then he walks away and he's like, "I'm gonna check on it one more time." Opens the door. Who's in there?
Harry.
And he gets picked.
And that's a really good kill. The pickaxe goes, I'm going to try to describe it, through the jaw, so through the chin, up into the jaw, and you see it poking out of his like cheekbone underneath his eye socket. Really cool effect. Really nice gore. But he gets it. He's dead. He's done.
Third kill in the movie.
Third kill. So if this horror universe is one big shared universe, this will make sense. Okay? I'm going to lay something out here. You tell me if you're picking up what I'm putting down. Valentine's Day in this movie is on Saturday, which means yesterday was Friday the 13th. This film was released in 1981, the same year that Friday the 13th Part 2 is released in. Potentially, this is the first movie with Jason happened the night before this Valentine's Day party. Now, I know Jason's supposed to take part in the summer on Friday the 13th, but if in 1981 this is the only Friday the 13th, in theory, that's when we got Jason Part 2.
Well, the murders, if we're going off like Friday the 13th when it happened in February the 13th, which was a Friday the 13th, if we're following that train of thought.
Yeah.
Then the killer was killing before Jason was killing.
Or at the same time. Like throughout that weekend, right?
Well, the first person who got killed was killed the night before.
Right.
We get introduced to the characters.
Yep. And then Maybelle.
And then Mabel gets killed the next day, which is the 13th.
Yep.
So that's where we can kind of see these things.
And then the Valentine's party is the real slaughter/massacre.
Yeah.
So I think it's just kind of like a fun thing I started realizing. Because they put a big thing up on the screen. Saturday, February 14th, Valentine's Day, whatever. And I go, oh, crap. That's the same year. And I look it up. Yep. Friday the 13th, Part 2, released in the same year.
But we digress.
Thought it was kind of fun.
Cool.
So they have the party at the mine. There's a really cool chick who can play pool. I wrote that down.
Oh, yeah. She was showing the guy. No, she was into him. She's like, let me show you how to play pool.
And she knocked all his balls in the hole.
She did. She did a great
Hot dog kid gets his face boiled.
Yeah, so this kid at the party, this kid's like, I'm going to get me some munchies. And that's the kid, the girls showing him how to play pool.
Yep.
They call him Babyface. We're introduced to Babyface. First time I saw or met Babyface.
His face doesn't look like a baby much.
It does not. He goes in to get hot dogs, and Harry grabs his head and shoves it in the boiling water. And
that was it. You don't really see anything else happen with him.
No.
And you don't really see Harry.
But you see what happens to him at the end.
Later on.
You do see Harry's hand. You don't see his face.
You see a hand with a glove.
Yeah.
This is just to me for later when I play Devil's Advocate.
Okay.
This is just a note.
You see a hand with a glove.
Yep. So that's all happening
But you also see what else he's wearing. He's actually wearing his miner's coat.
I think he is, yeah.
Yeah.
So we get that kill in the kitchen. While that's happening in the kitchen, no one else is in there or around. And they start arguing over Sarah again. Mm-hmm. Picking a fight.
And he's like, Sarah's made her choice. And she's like, stop it, you two. You're both being jerks. I don't want either one of you.
And Hollis, the big badass that he is, puts both of them in a headlock.
Yeah.
Calms that shit down real quick
big
and goes,
will
you guys just knock it off?
This is the only movie that guy's been in, by the way. That
I know,
can find,
sadly.
So
I think he needs a couple of more films we can add. We can make some.
We just digitally recreate Hollis.
Howard, man. Howard with the goddamn jokes. So he is such a good, get that party going again. When it gets really, really awkward, he will just drop a one-liner to get everyone laughing again.
Hey, he got Sarah. She was into him. She chose him.
Howard?
Yeah.
No, Howard the comedian?
Yeah.
No, Sarah's not into him.
She was into him. She kissed him. She followed him down the mine. She was sitting next to him. He had his arm around her.
I guess he was putting the moves on her. What?
She was falling for him, man. She knew Howard. Look, man, go for the mature, goofy, dumb guy.
All right, I agree.
She was going for stability, not irrationality. One guy broke her heart. The other guy was just being too much of a jerk.
Yeah. So she goes with the comedian.
Yeah.
All right. Note to the viewers: always be the comedian.
Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't.
In 1981, it worked great.
Did it? Most of those comedians end up dead.
No, Carrot Cake or whatever his name is still around.
Carrot Cake. Carrot Cake's a great comedian.
Oh, Carrot Top. Sorry.
I know you're talking about Carrot Top.
Damn it.
You mean Carrot Cake?
We're not cutting that either. I'm leaving that in. I apologize. I'm leaving it in.
You're not apologizing. Well, Carrot Cake, I love Carrot Cake, man.
So the two lovebirds, they're in the shower/changing room.
Yeah.
And Sylvia sends her boyfriend John to go get the beers.
Mm-hmm.
Never split the party. This is just foreshadowing right now. Never split the damn party.
So he's with his girl and he's hot and heavy.
Yeah.
Before this, there's another guy who's getting hot and heavy with his girl.
That's John.
Yeah, John.
Yeah.
And then he leaves her to get the beers. And when he gets the beers,
he finds...
He doesn't find it.
Oh, no, you're right. He doesn't find it. He opens the door.
So...
And there's Hot Dog Face.
And inside the pot where the girls are getting hot dogs...
another heart?
Was another human heart.
Yeah. But this one was boiled.
This one was boiled.
So it looked a little different.
And she's like, oh, it's probably Howard. Because when he gets... There's the kid's face inside the fridge where he gets the beers. And he's like, oh, it's probably Howard. Such a tease.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
And during this, his girl... so the killer's like scaring her by pulling the little lines.
Dropping all the clothes down.
Yeah, so they kind of showcase, they did a little exposition of like, how do you get those clothes all the way up there down? Oh, you just pull this. And so the killer... I don't know where he is because I wouldn't think all the lines would be in random locations like that.
Unless he was off to the side cutting the lines and letting them drop.
That would also make sense.
That's giving him a little
bit.
But
he's scaring this girl. She's terrified.
Mm-hmm.
He shows up. He picks her up with one arm and just jams her head into the shower.
Isn't it two? Because I thought he was going to squash her head. But he grabs her like this and then lifts her. Either way,
it might have been both.
One hand or two hands, it's still not super believable.
I just remember him grabbing her by the neck and then just jamming her on there.
Yeah, because he shoves her right onto the water faucet.
Yeah.
Through the back of her neck, out her throat, right?
Yeah, and her boyfriend finds her dead, and during this time, someone else finds Babyface's head.
Mm-hmm.
And... runs in, the girl who showed him the pool move starts screaming because he's dead, and the guy's like, she's dead. And so like they're trying to figure out, and during this time, while they find all these dead bodies, Hollis, Howard, Sarah, Hollis's girlfriend, the four of them, I think actually six of them, there are two other characters.
Yep.
They go down to the mine itself.
Which we won't worry about the names of the other two because I don't remember them either.
They're not important.
And they don't last long.
Anyhow, so they're in the mine during
TJ
this.
and
Axel. They're there. They're like, what's going on?
Quick, call!
They're down in the mine. They went there. And they send the people out to get the police, to the sheriff.
But when TJ tries to call, the phone doesn't work.
The phone line's been cut.
And this was one of the red herrings that I was like, okay, he's the killer. For me, personally. Because I was like, oh, he's pranking them. The phone lines are probably fine. But he's saying that he can't call out.
You thought TJ was the killer.
Yeah. This was like this is where I was like, yeah, I'm right. I'm still right.
Okay.
But I was wrong.
Why did you think TJ? Okay.
Because I thought he was the one disappearing doing all this.
Yeah, no.
Because when he walks outside, he has his shirt barely buttoned up.
Yeah.
And I thought he was just unchanging, maybe.
His shirt was always like that, though. He had like the V there, and he was wearing the little scarf there on his neck.
I red herringed myself.
Yeah.
It was bad.
But
Anywho's
Axel, he and Axel, they're like, all right, we're going to go down to the mine. You guys get the cops.
Yep.
The kids get the sheriff. The sheriff calls in everyone. All the miners, everyone's coming in to rescue these nubile youths. And the people in the mine, they're terrified. They're hearing noises. And Howard's like, it's probably rats. Yes, two of them do get murdered. But
they had sex.
Axel and TJ head down into the mine.
They do.
And
they split up to try and find them quicker.
These people. Yeah. And from here, we see Harry in his full outfit, smashing lights, heading directly towards Hollis,
Sarah, and all them. Yep.
But
the other two are still off making love.
Yeah.
Like, because they ducked out. They were like, we'll meet you at this point
they're
in
the
10
engine
minutes
room.
Or whatever. Yeah.
And they're boinking. They're boinking, squonking, whatever you want to call it.
It's a rule in horror films back then. You can't have sex. It's against the rules.
Nope.
You'll die.
So they get... Anyhow, like, they find TJ. They meet TJ, and he's like, what's going on? And they're like, I don't know.
Yeah, but he pops out of nowhere.
We got to find these people. Well, he does that several times.
I know.
And then Axel pops out of nowhere. And he meets up with them. He's like, we got to find them. They're over here. Hollis goes one way.
This was another red herring because he was acting a little weird whenever he popped out.
Yeah.
He's like, very, very just non-emotion. Like, he's just like, yeah, everything's fine. It's okay. We're going to get out of here. Like, he's just...
I just didn't think he was a great actor.
No, yeah. Well, I guess you could chop it up to that too. But, I started like... I had like 3 red herrings at this point.
They were trying to sell him as the romantic hero. But
and as the killer.
He's coming in one way. So TJ's going one way, Hollis is going the other to meet up.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where Hollis gets there first. TJ meets up with Axel, and before TJ meets up with Axel, Hollis finds 2 dead bodies of the
lovers.
The lovers. We don't see them. We don't see their kill, but we see the killer load a nail gun with a nail, and Hollis gets a nail shot into the side of his head. And Hollis isn't dead at that moment. He leaves and he heads back towards his friends who are waiting for him. Howard is watching the girls.
Like a good man.
Like a good man.
Like a good man.
Like a good friend.
Like a good neighbor.
But he's a little baby about it. He doesn't want to wait there. He leaves them. Howard leaves them.
He does. He chickens out. He runs off.
He leaves them. He's like, come on. They're like, no, we need to wait. He's like, come on.
So I retract my statement about 1981 funny guys. Don't fall for the funny guys.
But, well, he was a coward. And TJ, this is where TJ meets up with Axel. TJ meets up with Axel and he's like, oh, they're over here. Come on. We're all reunited with everyone at this point. The killer, we don't know where the killer is.
Jesse almost takes Axel's head off. If you remember when they're coming down the lane, Axel comes around the corner out of nowhere, scares the crap out of everybody, and he almost clocks him right then and there. Thinking that he was Harry, basically. And then, so Harry smashed the control box that they were trying to go out. Is that what you were leading to?
Yeah, so the control box is smashed, but we also... Do we find Howard's body at this point, or Hollis?
Not yet. The ladder.
They find out that the box is gone, and they're... Oh, yeah, you're right. It was the ladder.
So they all decide they're going to climb, because that's the only way out. You can't go back. There's no way out back. You got to go up this shaft. So they decide, okay, well, we'll climb it. There's a ladder. They're all climbing, and the girl in the red dress, God forbid me for saying this, is the most annoying girl in this situation I've ever seen in a movie.
We do find out Hollis is dead. She knows Hollis is dead.
She does.
So Sarah slaps her.
To wake her up,
the
basically.
goofiest slap, and then she just hugs her, which was okay, sure, why not? And then anyhow, backtracking to
so they're climbing up the ladder, and the body drops. So basically, TJ kind of trips or whatever and bumps the ladder, and then that must have shook the body. The body drops. It's Howard's body hung, and when it hits, you see it. And then his freaking head just rips off from the body, and the body goes falling down the shaft.
Yeah.
And Howard's head is just dangling there, like your Adam's apple in the back of your throat.
Rip Howard.
Rip Howard shouldn't have ran away. Chicken shit.
Hardly knew you.
Oh no, the red dress girl got it. Sad day. I really liked her. Said no one ever. Next.
How did she die again?
Don't really care. Don't remember. I just know she got it, and I was okay with it.
Oh man, she was. I think she and Hollis were really in love, man. I think she.
Once Hollis is dead, I don't care about his girlfriend. I like Hollis.
Yeah, maybe there's a reason why he fell for her, Curtis. Maybe there's a reason. Anyhow,
TJ to the rescue.
TJ comes in. We're introduced to TJ. He gets hit by a log by Axel, and. No. TJ's like, let's go. We need to leave. And Axel's like, let's go this shortcut. So Axel leads them to this shortcut, which is near some like 60 feet of water in a mine shaft. And you can't go on the water because it's 60 feet deep. Because you can't swim in a mine.
No. Gravity, physics are different. Once you hit the water, you actually get sucked down in a mine.
That's how it works.
In his head.
Yeah. I can't go down there. It's 60 feet deep. Yeah, so we see Axel's like, move on. Go ahead. I'll follow after. And then you hear Axel scream with TJ with the 2 girls. And then he's in the water. So at this point, we know TJ's not the killer.
Right.
So we don't see what happens to Axel off camera. We just see the light on his helmet sink.
Yep, go down into the water.
So at this point, I think we know who the killer is. But moving forward, this is where he kills the girl, I think. He kills her when...
Sorry, I fast-forwarded to that.
Yeah, no, you're fine. He kills her when they meet Harry.
Mm-hmm.
And he kills the girl first, and TJ gets on the minecarts, and they have this epic battle with a shovel and a pick.
Oh, yeah. We definitely should talk about that, because that's a really cool fight scene, especially knowing that they actually filmed this movie in an actual mine shaft 900 feet below sea level. Like, they're 900 feet deep into a mine shaft, and they're actually having this fight. If you notice, there's some times when the lighting changed, got brighter. Mm-hmm. It's because they had to use different lights based on where they were filming in the mine shaft because of the methane gas, the potential that they could actually blow something. Mm. So when you see a light change, that's supposed to be when they actually changed the lighting that they were using.
During this fight, though,
back to the
fight. Sheriff is running down with a group of men to meet up with them.
Because it's the back way, right?
Right.
They can't go down the shaft.
Right.
Via the elevator or whatever, because it was busted.
Yeah. So
then he takes them through, it looks like big giant red barn doors.
They go into a tunnel on the side. Like, I don't remember why. I think they were trying to get away from him or something. Yeah. But he comes in and they continue fighting until he pulls off the mask. And we meet the killer.
Yeah. You're introduced.
Who is Axel.
To Axel.
And...
he's got that same stupid look whenever they ran into him in the mine. I was saying, that blank, non-emotional like look. It's that same face.
Yeah.
Which I was like, damn it, Curtis. I can't believe you forgot it was this guy.
Well, and he's just completely crazy. And then the sheriff comes down and everything. Like, he keeps hitting things in the mine, and the mine shaft falls on top of him.
Yeah, so I think TJ was baiting him a lot of times into swinging at him, and then it would hit a post, ripping the post out, and then basically creating this, what's it called, collapse in a mine shaft. I think there's a specific term for that, but basically it causes the mine shaft to collapse on top of Axel, locking him in there, but not killing him. No, he's totally fine in there, except for his arm.
No, his arm's completely gone, and
so his arm's pinned.
The sheriff's down there by now, and TJ's like, Axel's the killer, and he's like, oh, it's Axel.
And then the mayor is like, it makes sense because that's who Harry killed.
He saw his dad get killed by Harry. Oh no, it's a perfect match. But the audience, we didn't know that, and then we get a flashback with this kid who sees his dad die.
Blood gets splattered all over his face.
Yeah.
He hides under the bed. He's like sucking his thumb with blood on it. Which, oh gosh.
So Harry hobbles off, and he said,
so he saws his own arm off.
Yeah.
So Sarah's like, let me go see him or whatever. So she goes to see him. She puts her hand near it, and then he grabs her hand because his nerves are being sawed off. Because he literally chops his own arm off down there, and then
she screams.
She freaks out. They pull her back, and the arm comes with it.
Axel hobbles off. He's like, ha 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 ha. He starts laughing, being crazy. Says a bunch of weird things, and he asks Sarah, will you be my bloody Valentine?
Yep.
Pull credits.
And the original name of the movie was going to be The Secret, I believe.
The Secret.
The Secret. Axel's Secret. The Secret of him being the killer. Him being the son of the guy who Harry killed or whatever. It was basically the name so that way no one would know it was My Bloody Valentine, because they picked a holiday that no one had done a horror movie about before. One of our fun facts in trivia. Which, if you don't have anything else to say about the movie, what'd you think? Let's do the ratings. I always forget that part. But, to me, this is just a standard 70s, 80s classic slasher.
All right, so I'm going to talk about my main complaint here.
Oh, yes.
The killer changed his clothes way too fast.
Yeah.
Way too fast. He'd come in, come out. Like, putting on that suit would take at least 15 minutes just to get in that get-up. Yep. I get that he may not have put on the whole outfit, and you can kind of argue it, but I don't know. I understand why they did it. It's like in a
really
sleepaway
hard
camp
to believe, though,
well, sleepaway camp, we see the boy instead of the girl killing people.
Mm-hmm.
Until the point where...
But there's a reason. There's a legal reason for that.
Well, so it's still goofy. Like,
it is, yeah.
It's... I'm assuming that he didn't dress up as the guy. He just put on a mask. If we wanted to redo this movie, that's how I would do it. Just put the mask on, maintain the same clothes. But
well, have him look more like the miner already.
Yeah,
and then you don't have to worry about that. There's no like in this. He's at the dance. He's wearing an open butt blue jean.
That's not him. That's TJ.
Oh shit, you're right.
He's wearing a jacket and everything. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. It was good. It was a good movie. I would give it like a 6 out of 10. I'd watch it just like if it's on. I'll be like, I'll watch this. Yeah.
I mean, I pitched this movie around Valentine's for those who like horror. This is I think, a good movie for that time. Would I go out of my way to watch it any time out of the year? No. This is definitely kind of a themed movie for me, especially because the remake, to me, is a much better all-around film. But we'll get to that one day, hopefully. So, fun facts and trivia. Shall we? Actually shot in the mines. We went over that. The lighting changes. Oh, here's the good one, in my opinion. Thomas R. Berman, also known for Invasion of the Body Snatchers, Scrooged, and Grey's Anatomy, to name a few.
Oh, Grey's Anatomy.
So his effects and his makeup artistry is what he's known for in the industry. And he has like Nip Tuck, that TV show, and a bunch of other kind of medical shows.
For his gore?
For all of his gore. So this movie helped launch him getting those kinds of roles, which is really cool. One of his creations was so gory, though, it caused the director to throw up just at the sight of it.
What was that, Mabel?
They don't tell you which one. They just say that one of. And then Paul Zaza. So he's the guy who wrote the music for the film. He actually wrote the folk ballad that plays over the end credits as an afterthought, which is phenomenal. That song is amazing. I'm going to throw it in here while we're talking. That's kind of a quiet, just soft song so you guys can hear it. But probably one of the best horror songs written for a horror movie specifically that I can think of off the top of my head. There's a couple others. Killer Clowns had a really good march theme.
Killer Clowns.
Yep. Written just for that movie. But
well, that was written. It was not written for the movie.
Sorry, air quotes.
Yeah. They can't see.
Yeah. They can't see me. But yeah, there's really not a lot of fun facts for this movie. There are some cool trivia pieces, though. And on that note, we appreciate you guys hanging out with us for the past 40-ish minutes. And happy Valentine's Day to all the lovers out there. And to all you single folks, or maybe you don't celebrate Valentine's Day with a special someone. It doesn't matter. It's okay. We love you. You're here. And enjoy the day. Either way, watch more horror movies, man. That's what I'm going to do.
Perfectly okay to be single.
Perfectly okay. Okay, so on that note, follow us Instagram and Twitter to the number Guys Horror Pod, and you can email us at 2guysandSomeHorror@gmail.com. Send us your suggestions, comments, tips, things you want to see us do, things you want to see us stop doing, like, I don't know, certain segments. Maybe you don't like a segment. Maybe there's a segment you want us to try out. Let us know. We'd really appreciate your feedback. And we love the reviews. On iTunes, we've got a couple of reviews already. I'll probably do like a little episode where we just discuss some of the user feedback that we've gotten from those reviews. And we look forward to seeing more of your guys' comments. Anything else, Clark?
No. Thanks for participating in this ride. It's been great.
It's not over yet.
It's not. It's not over.
Later, guys.
Once upon a time, on a sad Valentine, in a place known as Honeygull.